Roughly 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil shipped around the world passes through a narrow stretch of water only a few dozen kilometers wide. If this route were disrupted for just a few days, the effects could spread from the ports of the Persian Gulf to the economies of countries thousands of kilometers away. From the surface, everything appears perfectly ordinary. Every day, hundreds of ships quietly follow one another between 2 barren, rocky coastlines. The scene is so calm that it is difficult to imagine this waterway serves as one of the most critical links in global trade and energy. But that is only part of the story. Beneath these busy shipping lanes lies a world shaped by geology, climate, and thousands of years of adaptation by both nature and the people who have lived alongside it. How has nature managed to survive in one of the busiest and most strategically important maritime corridors on Earth? The answer begins beneath the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. In waters where summer temperatures can reach 36 degrees Celsius, the coral reefs of the Strait of Hormuz continue to survive. While coral reefs in many parts of the world are declining as the oceans warm, the reefs here have adapted to extreme heat and high salinity over thousands of years. Life continues to thrive beneath one of the most strategically important seas on the planet. Directly above this ecosystem lies one of the busiest shipping routes in the world. Geography has placed a marine environment that evolved to withstand extreme conditions beneath an energy corridor that plays a vital role in the global economy. Yet above that thin layer of water exists a completely different world. Every day, about 21 million barrels of crude oil pass through this narrow strait. That enormous volume quietly keeps factories running, transportation networks moving, and supply chains functioning across multiple continents. Endless lines of oil tankers move steadily through these waters as part of the everyday rhythm of global trade. Beneath them, coral reefs continue to grow in conditions that many other marine ecosystems could never endure. On one side is nature, shaped by thousands of years of adaptation to an unforgiving environment. On the other is the continuous flow of energy that helps sustain the modern global economy. These two worlds exist side by side within a remarkably narrow stretch of water, making the Strait of Hormuz one of the rare places where nature and strategic importance intersect. located at the entrance to the Strait of Hormuz. Larak occupies a position that very few places in the region possess. From the island, it is possible to observe the steady flow of ships passing through one of the most important maritime routes on the planet. For this reason, it has long served as a strategic observation point. Even recent maritime advisories have instructed civilian vessels to avoid certain nearby areas, showing that surveillance around the island continues to be maintained. From a distance, Larak appears barren and quiet, but when night falls, the sea begins to change. Along certain stretches of the shoreline, the waves suddenly glow with an electric blue light. Every small movement causes thousands of plankton to emit light simultaneously, making the entire coastline appear illuminated. Few people realize that this small island still preserves a culture found almost nowhere else. Some residents continue to speak Kumzari, a rare indigenous language that survives on both Larak and in several coastal communities of Oman. Through centuries of trade, the language absorbed influences from Old Persian, Arabic, Portuguese, and English, becoming the only indigenous Indo-European language still spoken on the Arabian Peninsula. On a hillside overlooking the sea, the ruins of a Portuguese fortress continue to withstand the wind, salt, and heat. Built from coral stone and red mud during the era when maritime powers competed for control of Hormuz. The structure has now been reduced to crumbling walls. Yet these remaining traces serve as a reminder that the struggle for control of this gateway to the strait began many centuries ago. Along the southern shore of the strait, a rocky peninsula extends directly into the sea, like a natural wall guarding the entrance to the Gulf. This is Musendown, often called the Norway of the Middle East. Musandam stands beside one of the world's most strategically sensitive shipping routes. Every movement across the waters ahead is tied to the flow of global trade, making this narrow strip of land a quiet anchor in the balance of Hormuz. Here, the landscape does more than shape the scenery. It also helps shape power. The people of Oman call the deep inlets that cut into the land cores, unlike the fjords of Norway, which were carved by glaciers. The cores of Musandam were formed through millions of years of tectonic activity. As ancient valleys gradually sank beneath sea level, towering limestone cliffs rising hundreds of meters embrace the deep blue waters, creating one of the most unusual landscapes on the Arabian Peninsula. But what is even more remarkable is that people still choose to live within this landscape. Many villages tucked beside these narrow inlets can still be reached only by boat. The sea remains the only route for travel, trade, and connection with the outside world. Over many generations, the people here have learned to adapt to isolation, the hot, dry climate, and limited resources, gradually turning harsh conditions into an ordinary part of daily life. At the northern tip of the peninsula lies Kasab, the largest port in Musandam. Ferries, cargo ships, and tourist vessels move in and out continuously, connecting this isolated land with Oman and other Gulf countries. That very isolation eventually became Kasab's greatest advantage, allowing it to serve as an important observation point overlooking the entire shipping route. Among the communities with the longest history in these mountains are the Shehu people. Their Naba calls once echoed through the mountain valleys to signal the presence of travelers. Their lives followed the seasons, moving between the coast and the highlands in order to adapt to nature. Traces of that way of life remain in the Beit al-Kufl stone locked houses used to store grain, water, and essential supplies during the hottest months of the year. In the middle of a quiet bay, Telegraph Island still preserves the remains of a relay station built by the British during the 19th century. From this small, nearly isolated island, telegraph messages were once transmitted along the communication route linking London and Karachi, making Musandam a vital link in the global communications network long before oil transformed the Middle East. Hormuz had already held strategic importance long before the age of oil. Today, Oman continues to control the entire southern shore of the strait. For a country that is not large but sits beside a shipping route that commands the attention of every major power, Musandam continues to play a unique role in the regional balance. And the deeper the journey into Hormuz continues, the clearer it becomes that these lands guarding the gateway have never been mere dots on a map. Ahead lies another island, where that competition is more visible than ever before. Amid the vast waters of the Gulf, Abu Musa appears as little more than a small strip of land surrounded by the sea. Yet few islands of such modest size attract so much attention. Located farther from the mainland than any other Iranian island in the Persian Gulf, Abu Musa faces the international shipping lanes converging toward the Strait of Hormuz. This position has made the island a strategic link at one of the world's most sensitive maritime choke points, where the flow of global energy and trade passes. If shipping through Hormuz were disrupted for only a few days, nearly 20% of the world's oil supply could be affected, forcing many vessels to reroute through waters closely monitored around Iran's islands. A small island, yet significant enough that many nations cannot ignore it. The dispute surrounding Abu Musa has never truly come to an end. Iran currently administers the island, while the United Arab Emirates continues to claim sovereignty over it as part of the territory of Sharjah. The origins of the modern dispute began with a memorandum signed in 1971, just before the United Arab Emirates was established. The document did not determine sovereignty, but instead defined how both sides would maintain a presence on the island. Under the agreement, Iran controlled the areas that had been mutually agreed upon, while Sharjah retained jurisdiction over the remaining territory. However, over the following decades, Iran gradually expanded its control and now administers the entire island of Abu Musa. Along the rocky hillsides stand radar stations, surveillance systems, and missile launch sites positioned toward the strait. Some of these installations are concealed inside caves or hidden beneath mountain slopes, forming an observation network overlooking the busy shipping lanes ahead. The greatest contrast lies directly beneath these defensive positions, only a short distance away. Fishermen still head out to sea before sunrise. Children still go to school. And everyday life continues in one of the most sensitive regions of the Middle East. Long before it became the focus of competing territorial claims, Abu Musa was known for its deposits of red oxide, a mineral resource that contributed to the island's value for centuries. Ironically, decades of restricted access have also helped preserve many coastal ecosystems and the coral reefs surrounding the island in relatively untouched condition. Leaving Abu Musa behind, ships continue toward the northern shore of the strait. The next destination is the city that serves as the command center of Iran's entire maritime network. Every ship passing through Hormuz eventually converges on Bandar Abbas from this port. Goods continue to spread across the Gulf and far beyond, making it one of the most important hubs in the entire strait. For centuries, this harbor welcomed merchants, sailors, laborers, and those drawn into the trade routes of the Indian Ocean. Along with them came languages, religions, and music from Persia, Arabia, India, and East Africa. These movements of people helped shape the community of Afro-Iranians, who are still present along Iran's southern coast. Yet the clearest memory of those sea voyages is not found on the docks. It echoes through the drums of the Zar ritual, the fragrance of incense slowly fills the air. The rhythm of the drums, combined with chants and repeated movements, creates an atmosphere that is both mysterious and hypnotic. According to local belief, certain illnesses and emotional suffering are caused by Zar spirits or invisible winds that enter the human body rather than driving them away. The ritual seeks to calm and reconcile them through music, incense, and ceremonies passed down through many generations. And Zar is not the only trace left behind by the maritime routes that shaped Bandar Abbas. In a city where most of the population follows Islam, the Bandar Abbas Hindu temple stands as an unexpected sight. The temple was built by merchants from Shikarpur during the late 19th century to serve the Hindu community living and trading in the port. Its distinctive conical dome rises above the surrounding Persian architecture, recalling a time when Bandar Abbas served as a meeting point for merchant caravans stretching from Iran to the Indian subcontinent. A single event in 1622 truly changed the destiny of this city. With the support of the British Navy, Shah Abbas I defeated the Portuguese and regained control of the gateway to Hormuz. Following that victory, the port of Gombran was renamed Bandar Abbas, the Port of Abbas. It was not only the city's name that changed. The balance of power across the Gulf also began to shift in an entirely new direction. Ships continue to depart from the harbor, leaving behind the sounds of cranes, ship horns, and busy docks ahead. There is no longer a city, only the sea, the rocks, and a striking red island rising from the blue waters. More than 70 colors exist together on an island covering only about 42 square kilometers. That alone has earned Hormuz the name Iran's Rainbow Island. Yet these colors were not created by sunlight or weather. Hormuz was uplifted from a massive salt dome buried deep beneath the earth over millions of years. The rising salt mass gradually pushed upward, bringing ancient rocks, volcanic materials, and mineral-rich sedimentary layers to the surface. Every movement beneath the ground left behind a different color across the island. few steps away. Brilliant red hills give way to pale yellow, white, purple, green, orange, and shimmering silver. Iron oxide creates the island's distinctive red color, while salt, gypsum, and many other minerals paint the remaining bands of color. As the sunlight changes throughout the day, the entire island seems to transform, leading many people to compare it to the surface of another planet. For generations, Galactha Island's distinctive red ochre soil has been used to dye fabrics and produce handmade crafts. Even more remarkably, it also appears in surag, a traditional local dish. Few places in the world can claim that the very soil beneath one's feet has become part of the local culinary culture. Hormuz once stood directly along the maritime route that every empire sought to control. Merchant ships from India, China, Persia, and the Arab world arrived continuously, carrying silk, spices, pearls, and luxury goods. Whoever controlled Hormuz could largely influence the flow of trade between the Indian Ocean and the Middle East. In the early 16th century, the Portuguese built the Fort of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception, transforming Hormuz into one of the empire's most important strongholds along the eastern sea routes. Its red stone walls still stand today, reminding us that there was once a time when the fate of an entire maritime route depended on a single small island. Today, among the mineral-rich hills, Majara Residence rises with its domed roofs built from local materials. The project was developed together with the island's own residents, creating jobs while opening a new path for the local community. The tide begins to change direction as the journey leaves Hormuz behind. And in the waters ahead, a forest that reveals itself only when the sea allows gradually comes into view. Between Cheosham and the mainland lies the Hara Mangrove Forest, the largest mangrove ecosystem along the coast of the Persian Gulf. It is not dramatic cliffs or colorful mineral layers like those of Hormuz that define this place. Everything remarkable happens quietly, following the rhythm of the tides. The trees of Avicennia marina, commonly known as Hera, can survive in seawater where most other plants cannot. Their leaves naturally remove excess salt, while their roots rise above the mud to continue breathing whenever the ground is submerged. Within only a few hours, the entire forest transforms completely. As the tide retreats, millions of roots emerge from the mud at the same time, covering the ground like a vast, field of sharp spikes. Then the sea begins to return. Tree trunks gradually disappear beneath the rising water. The roots vanish below the surface. Only the green canopies remain above the sea, making the entire forest appear to float on the water. Few people realize that all of these changes take place within only a few hours before repeating again, day after day, for thousands of years. This forest is so remarkable that it has been recognized by UNESCO as a biosphere reserve and is also listed as a wetland of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. It is not only wildlife that depends on this forest. For generations, the people of Chesham Island have paddled through its narrow waterways to gather branches and leaves as feed for goats and camels. In southern Iran, this tree is also known as Avicenna, a name associated with the Persian scholar Ibn Sina, and some theories suggest that the name itself originated from him. Hidden beneath the roots lies the beginning of countless forms of life: young fish, crabs, shrimp, and many other marine species grow under the forest's protection before moving into open waters. At the same time, Hara stabilizes the soil, slows coastal erosion, and helps maintain the shoreline along the Strait of Hormuz. The very thing that allows Hara to sustain life is also what makes it vulnerable. Oil spills, pollution, and pressure from maritime activity are gradually reducing the size of the forest. If Hara disappears, Hormuz will lose one of the first places that has nurtured life throughout the entire strait. There is an island where traveling only a few more kilometers changes the color of the rocks, the landscape, and even the geological history of the Earth. This is Kishim, the largest island in the Persian Gulf, from above. Its entire coastline stretches across the sea in the shape of a giant dolphin. On the ground, each valley reveals a different chapter of geological history, making it one of the most diverse landscapes in the Middle East. The hot, arid climate, sea winds, salt, and scarce fresh water have not only shaped the landscape, but have also influenced the way people have lived on this island for generations. The entire island resembles a geological book that is still being written. It is not difficult to understand why UNESCO selected Chesham as the first global geopark in the Middle East. Yet what many people remember most begins with a legend. Local people tell the story that the Valley of Stars, also known as Starlocophos, was created when a star fell to the earth at night. The wind whistles through the narrow rock passages, producing strange sounds, while leaning rock pillars and distorted cliffs make the entire valley appear as though it is moving. For generations, this place has been associated with stories of spirits and unexplained phenomena. Seasonal rains, wind, and continuous erosion have gradually carved into the soft sedimentary layers, leaving behind sharp stone pillars, hollow rock walls, narrow corridors, and rock formations with an almost surreal appearance. The remarkable part is that this process has never stopped. After every rare rainy season and every powerful windstorm, the Valley of Stars is carved once again by nature. On an island where fresh water has always been more precious than almost any other resource, how have people managed to survive? The answer lies within Chaku Canyon. Over thousands of years, water, wind, and salt widened natural cracks into a stone labyrinth of narrow canyons, rock chambers, and honeycomb-like surfaces. The people here did not merely live alongside this landscape, they learned how to read it. They knew exactly where water would flow, which rock layers could retain moisture the longest, and they dug small wells at the bottom of the canyons to store every precious stream of fresh water. And what Keshem preserves beneath its surface is far older still. On the western side of the island, Namukdan Salt Cave opens into a world almost completely separated from everything outside. This cave system formed within a massive salt dome, where deeply buried layers of salt slowly rose through the overlying rock because they could no longer withstand the pressure of the sediments above. These salt layers are about 550 million years old, formed long before the first animals ever walked onto land. Every step inside Namukdan crosses a chapter of Earth's history that is older than almost every terrestrial ecosystem that exists today. Upon entering, the heat of the Gulf quickly fades behind you. The air becomes cooler. The light gradually disappears, and walls covered with salt crystals emerge from the darkness. White salt coats countless rock chambers, interrupted by bands of red, orange, and purple colored by other minerals. Below, brine flows slowly, forming reflective pools and glittering salt crusts. It feels as though the entire history of the Earth has frozen beneath the ground. From valleys that continue to be sculpted by wind and water, to salt layers that have remained beneath the Earth for more than 500 million years. This island quietly continues to change according to the rhythm of nature. Hormuz is often described as the gateway to the world's energy supply, but that is only one part of the story. Beneath the surface, life quietly adapts to the heat. Above it, shipping routes linking many of the world's largest economies continue to move without pause. Nature and global interests meet every day across this narrow stretch of water. In a world facing growing uncertainty, Hormuz is no longer just a distant name on a map. What happens here can quickly spread far beyond the Gulf, affecting economies, energy supplies, and the lives of millions of people. And amid the constant changes of the world, Hormuz remains quietly in place, a small body of water, yet its story has never belonged to this sea alone.